The term utopia has existed since 1516, when Thomas More published his hugely influential speculative novel, Utopia. In this text, More sets out his view of the kind of conditions in which he thinks a utopian society can function. For the 1500s, this was a pretty radical book, and actually in many ways it still is. Even now, the idea of reimagining society, or the economy for that matter, still feels radical. However, looking back, we can see how dated More's views are. For example, in his idea of utopia, there still existed slaves. So it was very much a product of its time. Obviously now, the idea of using slavery is about as beyond a utopia as you can imagine. So, that kind of begs the question, is utopia subjective?
A tremendous 2-year building project in Venezuela is nearly completed. From a vast slum area, this fine new district has arisen. Huge blocks of flats, all built in super-modern style, can house 6,500 people at rents from 10 shillings a week.
Here, British Pathé promotes the US-backed dictator Perez Jimenez and his vision of Caracas in Venezuela. Lacking any kind of context of his undemocratic rise to power or his own opulence while serving as dictator, Pathé presents us with a one-sided view of utopia. In Fritz Lang's seminal Metropolis, a scathing criticism of the growth-led capitalist economy, we are presented with a kind of flawed utopia, in which the hands of the many slave away to serve the lucky few. Metropolis questions the nature of class in utopia. Fredo, the son of the master of Metropolis, develops class consciousness as he discovers the great costs of his utopic life, when he sees the conditions in which the worker underclass live.
A lot has changed in the past 300 years. People are no longer obsessed with the accumulation of things. We have eliminated hunger, want, the need for possessions. We've grown out of our infancy.
You've got it all wrong. It has never been about possessions. It's about power.
Power to do what?
To control your life, your destiny.
That kind of control is an illusion.
In a far more recent depiction of utopia, we have Star Trek: The Next Generation. The hit sci-fi show takes utopia across the galaxy, with Captain Picard helming the Enterprise on an expedition for knowledge and diplomacy. The Star Trek universe is largely set around the Federation, kind of utopian worldwide government, and Picard's Enterprise is the centre stage for big questions around morality, economy, and humanity itself. Despite these examples, there seems to be endless science fiction dramas that ponder what can go wrong, and yet there isn't a lot of popular mass media considering what could go right. Star Trek is something of a rare example here. Either this is capitalist ideology rejecting media that presents a hopeful future without the painful machinations of capitalism, or we simply can't think of one.
Makes one wonder how our species survived the 21st century.